Hello everyone, Jeff here, back with you again today with a contest entry video for the Vinylverse. Bill over at the Vinylverse has hit 300 subs. Congratulations, Bill. It's well deserved. You easily deserve way more. For those of you who aren't subscribed, I will put a link down below to his channel. Highly recommend you check his channel out if you haven't already and subscribe to it. Has great taste in music, great taste in, jazz, prog. Everybody knows in the VC knows he's the Genesis guy. That's kind of like his niche, which is cool. It's good to have something like that. And overall, nice guy, great taste in music. And I've been watching his channel since the beginning, and it's been awesome watching it grow. So wanted to show my support and make an entry for your contest. And that contest is called Through the Years. And real quick, what it's all about is you have to show at least 4 albums from different years, obviously, when they came out, and what those albums mean to you. Like what they remind you of from that year. And I have my 4 albums ready to go. So without further ado, let's jump right in. First up, I went with 1969. I talked about that in yesterday's video. Abbey Road was #1 on my birthday, like I said. This was the album that knocked it off the #1 spot right after my birthday for 1 week. Rolling Stones, Let It Bleed, and this is probably my top. It's either my favorite Stones album or it's in like my top 2. I really like Exile on Main Street too, and that's a double album. So a lot of times I usually call that my favorite because it's a rare album that has all 4 sides are killer with no filler. But since this album came out in '69. This is what I'm showing. And I believe Hannah showed this yesterday. She just got this as VCLT. And this is just a great album front to back. And Gimme Shelter is my favorite Stones song, I think, of all time. I just love the way it starts at the beginning. It just has that creepy vibe to it, almost kind of like a swampy vibe. It seems like it would almost fit on like that Dr. John album, and you've got Mary Clayton's vocals in the back, sounding kind of ghostly, and you got the guitars just percolating in the background, and the drums, and then it just kicks into gear. Mick starts singing. Fantastic stuff. I never get tired of listening to that song. And this is the time in Stones history when they honestly were the world's greatest rock and roll band. This is one of like one of the big 4 albums that every Stones fan or almost every rock fan should own. So Let It Bleed from '69, my birth year, was my first part of this entry. Great album. I love that album. In fact, I'm probably going to spin it soon. Okay, we're going to skip ahead in time here to 1991. And this is Richard Thompson, Rumor and Sigh. This is the year, 1991 was the year that I met my wife, or wife-to-be. I didn't know this. It wouldn't happen for 20 more years, but she was the one. And met her in college, and she was the first woman who really knocked me back. She's smart. She's sarcastic, which I love, and she is very, very tuned to my wavelength. You ever meet that person, hopefully you have, where you just click immediately? That's the way it was with me and her. So the reason I'm showing this album is, of course, it came out in 1991. I had this on cassette originally. I only have the MoFi edition because, quite honestly, this album wasn't available on vinyl except as an import I was only able to find it as an import, and it was super expensive. So even though this MoFi was like 55 bucks, I think this came out like a year or two ago. Believe it or not, this was cheaper than the import edition. So that's why I went with this. I wish I could own more MoFis, but they're just too damn expensive. I made an exception in this case, though. Anyway, back to 91. Like I said, I had this on cassette, and I heard a lot of songs off this on the radio at the time. This was probably Thompson's biggest album that I can think of. It's got 1952 Vincent Black Lightning, which I think is probably the one song that the average person might have heard of before by him. And it was just part of the soundtrack of that year when she and I were getting to know each other and falling in love. And all these years later, after we'll be heading into our 7th year of marriage this year, we're still madly in love with each other. So that's what makes me feel good. It's what gets me through life. So, Rumor Inside from Richard Thompson, 1991. Rock solid memories here. So, and they're all good ones now. So, that's my second album. Okay, my third album. Things get a little darker. This is, I don't know if this is going to, yeah, this should show up. We're skipping ahead to 2016. And this is Black Star by David Bowie. This would end up being his last album. And it came out at the very beginning of 2016. I'm just showing you the gatefolds here. This came out in 2016 at the very beginning of the year. And on New Year's Day 2016, the kid's grandmother died, which put a black cloud over the year already. That was in our personal lives. And then a couple days later, this album was released. A couple days after that, Bowie died, which really really hit me hard, you know, for a celebrity or a musician or, you know, a famous person. More than probably anybody in a very long time, his death affected me. So, and from there, 2016 was just a horrible year for musician and other celebrity deaths. I mean, we lost so many great musicians that year. It just got ridiculous after a while. It was like, okay, enough. People quit dying here. And of course that year, my wife found out she had cancer in her thyroid. We had to go through that whole surgery and radiation treatments, and 2016 just sucked. So, I mean, and I've only played this album like twice, I think, which is probably the least that I've ever played any Bowie album. And it's a good album, don't get me wrong. But I think I need to just let some more time pass before I decide to spin it again. Because, you know, I mean, time eventually smooths everything over. And there's still too many negative associations with this record for me to want to just say, oh, I think I'll play this. And that's a shame, because, like I said, this was a really, really good record by Bowie. But not everything in life is always positive. So, in order to enjoy the good, sometimes you have to go through the bad. So, that's why I picked this album to show. Black Star by David Bowie. That's my third album. And finally, we jump ahead 1 year to 2017. And this is the Roger Waters album, Is This the Life We Really Want? This came out in 2017, and while this isn't exactly a cheery album to listen to either, it kind of felt like a little bit of a redemption. Reason being, In the summer of 2017, my wife was completely cancer-free, and she still is to this day, thank God. And, you know, things in our personal life, which was in kind of a lot of turmoil throughout 16 and into the first few months of 2017, had finally passed, and it seemed like we were in smoother waters again. And I badly wanted to see the Roger Waters concert. Tried getting tickets to his Chicago shows, couldn't. They were either sold out or the resale, you know, the secondary market tickets were just astronomically priced for really crappy seats. So, I'll show you the back cover here. I really love the design of this album. I think I've shown this one before. But we ended up going to Nashville, and I was able to find much nicer seats, even though they were still expensive, but they were better than anything I could have gotten here. And my wife and I had a little bit of a weekend getaway, just to, you know, reconnect a little, make everything okay, you know, because we never have time to ourselves alone. That's still a problem, but it's better now. And this was the beginning of that. So going to that show, which was just a couple weeks before I started making YouTube videos, because I started at the end of August in 2017, and this show was at the beginning of August. So, and that turned out to be a great thing, because I get to meet and talk to all you guys. So, whenever I pick this album up to play, and it's a really good album, it still reminds me of that time just a couple of years ago when I thought things were pretty dark and the end of the tunnel appeared and it was daylight again and life became a lot better. So Roger Waters' Is This the Life We Really Want from 2017 is my 4th album for the century. And there you go. I hope those records are acceptable for the entry. Hope I didn't depress anyone too bad with my stories. And like I said, if you haven't checked out Vinylverse, please do. I'll put a link down below. And check out his videos. He's a great guy, very nice guy, great taste in music. You know, I wish we lived closer together, like with so many other people on the VC. But, yeah, check out his channel and subscribe and enjoy, because it is a very enjoyable watch. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for me for now. I still have, I have a couple more contests that I want to get into. I've been spinning a lot more records. I'm going to have a jam-packed spin zone, probably around the end of the week, I'm thinking, hoping. And we'll see how it goes. So until then, peace, as usual, and take care.